Can you see anything in the staging area there?
Says we are live, but I'm getting here we are, baby.
Is it working?
It's working. First YouTube live.
We're doing it.
Appreciate it. We're doing it. And for those of you who don't know what we're doing, my name is Mike Krause, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of AR, and this is my business partner, Mr. Baker Shields.
What's up, guys?
And man, today I want to provide a lot of value. We're going to be basically doing this every Friday, just basically doing a free teaching. I want to give you all the templates, all the things that we teach, all the instruction that help coaches, anybody selling an online service. I mean, any type of business really you can take and use these practices into your business, but we do primarily focus on, I would say, the coaching or the fitness health space. We've been in the space for quite some time, ex-bodybuilder, all that jazz. Now I just spend my time, energy into helping people build things. So today we're going to talk about lead magnets. And a lot of people, I think with Hormozi, right, really got into play, like what is a lead, right? Really getting to this space. And I've always said, hey man, I think that too many people focus on trying to get clients over leads. And people are like, but that's the goal, is to get clients. I'm like, well, yeah, of course it is. I was like, but you can't have a client without a lead. So if you focus on getting leads and not clients, the way that you market yourself is actually completely different. And I'll give you a few examples here. So we all know those certain coaches, and maybe you're one of them. And if so, I hope today changes for you. But what that really looks like is somebody going, I'm looking for 5 people that are ready to take action and lose XYZ weight. What's going on, Felicity?
Hello, hello.
And then from there, it's like we try to get somebody to, I think, fill out that application or DM you or take that hard call to action to get people to move forward in the business. And you're really trying to fish for clients instead of leads. A lead is somebody that is warm, lukewarm, they could be cold warm, they could be screeching hot. It goes across the board. But you're going to get more and more people that are like, warm, than people that are like, take my credit card, swipe it. But if you're only looking for people ready to swipe their credit card, it's going to be slim pickings. And if you're watching this right now and you don't have 100,000 followers, expect it to be slim pickings. Eventually, at some point, you're going to run out of buyers. So we got to focus on getting leads. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. And one of the main focuses to get leads is understanding that structure. And before I dive into it, I want the team here to kind of like help me out. What has been, and guys, don't give the same answers. What has been the best lead magnet that we've set up for coaches inside AR?
Let's see. I'll let you go first. I want to give myself a challenge. I'll let Felicity go first.
All right. Let me think about that one. I don't want to be too broad, but the best lead magnets tend to be the ones that provide the most value and that speak to the niche the most. So it varies from coach to coach. However, depending on their niche. So let's say if you work with women, menopause, 50 plus, right? Like they're probably not going to care about getting a big chest. So making a lead magnet like how to grow your chest is not going to speak to them. So making sure that you really dive into what your niche is looking for. So a really tough pain point that you see across all clients, make a lead magnet based off of that and then just pack it with value. So I think the best lead magnets are niche focus and just overflowing with value. That'll be my answer.
Do you find that all of our clients, are they doing more of like a PDF? Are they doing video courses?
I see a range, mostly PDFs. So I see a lot of Canva PDF
Totally.
sort of style
Simple and
things.
easy, right?
Yeah, which tend to be pretty easy to throw together. So I would say that the ones that produce the most are the courses. So like mini courses, because you can provide a lot more value in those. And courses are the new thing.
Is there any tips or advice that you would give when creating that actual PDF?
don't just use chat GPT with that. Like, put your own spin on it. Put in, like, again, kind of going back to clients, I would add in what you normally see with your client questions. That's what everyone else is wondering too. So taking what your client questions are and putting that into a lead magnet is going to help you out drastically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Baker, what you got?
I do think what she just ended on there is a big thing that I've learned just in my entrepreneurial journey is, like, if you can have the presence of mind to have, like, you know, Mike, you got us these desk board buddies that are little, like, dry erase boards that we keep on our desk, or if you've got a notebook nearby or a notepad or something, like, if you can just write down, whenever you get asked a question, just write it down, right? And then make little tick marks next to it if you get asked it again. At the end of 30 days, 60 days of doing that, you're going to have so much more information about the holes that you might be leaving inside of your business that you can fill and just pre-fill, right? Because if it's the same questions that you're getting asked by prospects, then why not make a lead magnet that answers those types of questions? So that's a great, just kind of like side note, in order to, if you're somebody who, I know there'll be a lot of people that watch something like this and they're like, okay, great, but what should my lead magnet be, right? And those questions are a great spot to start. And also it's a great spot to figure out where is your client misaligned with what you're trying to provide. Because if they're asking the same questions, if every client has the same question, why would you not just create a client resource for them that answers that question? Or why would you not make that question that you keep getting repeatedly asked an SOP for their onboarding process, right? And so those are big things that we're trying to implement internally as we've learned and grown. But it's a super simple thing that you can just do, and it'll provide value in a number of ways later on. As far as the most effective lead magnet, I mean, it's kind of the one. This is why I thought Fussy was going to go this direction, so I was going to let her have the big one. But the best one that we've seen, and the highest converting one that we've seen, is communities. You know, just having a free community, and typically most of our people are going with Facebook, but you can do the same thing on School. You can, which is like kind of the big one now. You can do the same thing on Discord or Circle, or, I mean, AR's even got its own communities feature, and you can do it in a number of ways. But getting people into a free community kind of allows you to, just for lack of a better word, or my access to better words, really, it's just like you're trying to corral your warmer people in a place where you can just nurture them with, you know, bigger, better, even maybe more in-depth content, and they can get more access to you. Because the most important side psychologically on their end is that they are now in your inner circle. And people that are in your inner circle feel closer to you, right? They feel more tied to you. They are more likely to interact with things that you drop or announce or put out into the world, and they're going to be your warmest possible leads to become prospects and clients in the future. So communities, I think, is a kind of an evergreen lead magnet that most all businesses, and especially the ones we're talking to, fitness coaches, consultants, trainers, all of the above, should have some sort of a community that's free that people can get access to.
I agree. I think based off of the historic track record of all the people they worked with, that Facebook groups have always just held true. Now, something that we've recently been putting into play for some coaches, and this is something I'll be honest, kicking myself that I didn't think about before. And here's actually the funny part, and you guys don't know about this. So I've been working on trying to recreate the lead magnet for my own personal, like MikeKrausen.com, right? My own link in bio, which is basically just like, an extension of AR and what it is we do. Me trying to help coaches and clinics and whatever. And I come up with the idea months ago of like, okay, so you're going to get access to our free Facebook group. I'm going to give you the 5 biggest mistakes coaches make. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that. And it was like this bundle. Now, typically what we do is when we create an offer, we create this bundle. When you sign up today, I'm going to give you this and this and this, and you're going to get this, and look at all this value. And normally it would cost you this, but here's the price today. And it's like, well, if we would do that when we're trying to sell and close somebody, well, do we not also realize that a lead, you're also just trying to close and sell? The difference is that it's an exchange of your data instead of cash. Because it's still a sell. right? You got to sell the person to watch your story, engage with it. You got to sell the person to take action by clicking the link in your bio. You got to sell the person to fill out the form to give you the data. You got to sell the person to show up to the call. You got to sell them on the phone. You got to sell them on sticking to the plan, following the routine. So everything we do actually is sales, but too often we don't think I need to sell this lead to get into my world. We just think, well, I just got to close them if and when they decide to come into my world. We got to drive and force people to come into our world so that we can grow this business. And so for me, I'm thinking as we're starting to put this in play for all coaches, that going forward, we're going to have it to where like say they have a great example, right? I sent you Felicity. I sent you this video the other day with Trey Turner, one of our one-on-one clients. And he's got 30 recipes for intermittent fasting, 30 recipes for gut health, and a free Facebook group. We put all those things together versus 3 separate forms because maybe the free Facebook group isn't enough encouragement to get you to want to give your data. But maybe the ebook by itself isn't either. But if I put them together and then add in one other thing, doesn't that incentivize you to actually really want to be like, well, now this is too good to pass up. I have to give you my data. So it makes it where we can build a lot of value in selling, getting your name, number, and email. Now, if you're also wondering like, well, how do we know that works? Well, if you think about it like this, okay, we're in the software business coaching space. Every single business coach that you see, they want to give you what? Download my free training. Get my free sales script. Get my 100 hooks I'm going to give you for free. They're trying to give value in exchange for data so they can then nurture you on the back end. So what we want to do basically is teach you guys to do the same things that people that are getting you to pay them teach. Like if they do it, shouldn't you do it as well? And this is why it works so well, because I always tell people, hey man, we sell the same thing. I just got a different bow, right? Coaching somebody on how to do something most effective way, providing a lot of value in exchange, for monetary. So when creating these lead magnets, you want to give tons of value. You want to make it fit your niche. And you want to be sure that you have a really great header, right? A title. And you want to make sure that you have a really great copy. If you want to add a video trying to sell the idea of it, that's fantastic. If you want to add in some images of some transformations or some recipes that they're going to be receiving, another amazing idea. Because the more energy you put into selling this form that you're trying to get them to fill out, the more people are going to fill out the form. If you just put join my free Facebook group, and then it's like recipes, workouts, and tips, like that's lame. Nobody wants to join that. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like you want to put as much energy and effort into these titles as possible. So we talked about this too earlier in the week with our clients about the Hormozi style of like creating these titles and the copy, right? Because obviously when you're creating the offer, it's the same thing. Now we're just not offering a service, we're offering free value. So it's that same concept in what you're trying to create. Am I missing anything on that so far?
I don't think so. I was trying to find that framework just so we could
so we could hit it again.
Yeah, but I can't remember exactly where that was, so I'll look for it.
Oh, what was that called?
It's
in $100 million offer. Yeah,
the acronym was MAGIC, but I can't remember what it was. So I'll look for it.
MAGIC. Okay, so basically, as he's looking for it, but the idea or concept is really like, who's your ideal avatar? What are they receiving? Is there a time frame attached to it? Is there a goal associated with it? Right. So, for example, 7 steps for
Yeah.
parents to take to get a better night's sleep ebook. Right? Just something that's like speaking to who, how, where, how long, right? The container in which it's in. Course,
So,
ebook, group,
yeah, so
community.
it's magnet, avatar, goal, interval, container.
Okay. Repeat that one more time.
Magnet, avatar, goal, interval, and container. So
Okay.
acronyms magic.
All right. From the lead magnet portion itself, right? We talked about header, we talked about the body, we talked about the importance, we talked about the why. I want to dive in a little bit understanding the difference between why somebody would fill out an application versus why somebody would fill out a lead magnet and why they might not be able to do both at the same time. So, you heard me say it earlier, right? If you fill an application, you're ready to buy. You know at the end of application, you have to purchase. It's not like I'm just like inquiring for the future. Most of the time, it's because I'm fed up with my own BS. I'm ready to get started. Okay. But today's date's August 2nd, and Junior starts school in 7 days. And so let me make sure Junior gets in school first. Then I'm going to apply. And then 7 days rolls around. He's in school. He's loving it. And then that third day comes along, which is like day 8, day 9 for me to like, now I need to apply. It's like, dude, Junior's homework is crazy. They don't even do math the same as they used to anymore. What is this? I've got to go back to school now just so I can help him with his homework. Give me 2 weeks. Let me get this settled. Then I'm going to apply. This is what they have internally. They say to themselves, right? 2 weeks rolls around. Now all of a sudden it's like August 21st. It's like, all right, well, it's about time to apply again. And then you get a text from the husband. Hey, did you pick up the steaks for this weekend? What do you mean? It's Labor Day weekend. We always got the big barbecue. The family comes over. It's like, you're right. Well, I guess I'm not applying this week. Because I know I'm going to have lots of cake and beer and whatever else this weekend. So once that happens, let me get back. I'll get to it. And then we just continue to push with excuse after excuse after excuse. Because remember this, somebody wants to lose weight. The number one thing they're not good at is taking action. Because if they took action, they wouldn't need you in the first place. And so we know they lack action, but the entire time that somebody would not fill out that application, you know what they would get? A free group and a healthy cookbook recipe. They would learn how to start tracking their macros, at least the thought process of it. I'm not ready to apply and buy, but I'm willing to learn from you, Mike. I really like your group. Seems like it's a good idea. I know I want to go that direction. So let me do that. So the difference is that you got a warm lead versus a hot lead with a credit card in the hand. And if you close all of your applications at like a 75, 80, 90 close rate, it ain't because you're great. It's because they're already sold. It's because they already want to pay you. Because if they apply, they're ready to buy. But that's why when you go to the ad side, for those that have done ads, and then your close rate comes up to be like 40 or 50%, and you're like, dude, these leads are just not high quality. So actually, it has nothing to do with that. You're just not a great closer as you thought because you're not working on hot leads. You're working on people that don't know how to pronounce your last name because they just met you through an Instagram post 10 days ago. So it's completely different. And this is where the nurturing comes in. And we'll talk about nurturing in another call. I mean, that's the foundation of our business. That's how important it is. And it's why we have incomes and jobs is because of how important it is. But you can't nurture somebody if you can't get them in the door. So understanding that I'm trying to go after people that are wanting to learn versus people that are wanting to buy. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference. You've heard me say this enough times, Baker. What's on the average conversion rate of a website is how much?
3%.
3%. Okay. So for those who don't know, I used to own Coffee Over Cardio, which is the e-commerce coffee company. We did 10 million in sales. I sold it last year. I say all that to say that we had 240,000 orders, and I had millions of people come to my website over a 5-year period and converted 3% of people. And you'd be like, that's it? Like, that's a successful business. But if you convert 3% in your coaching business, you suck. You'll never make it. You'll never make it. And the reason is that when somebody goes to my website and they see this bag of coffee and they see that it's a collaboration with Fruity Pebbles that we had, and they see that it's light roast, they see the flavor, they see it's 12 ounces, they see it ships in 2 days, they see all the details, and it still converts at 3%. But you think that you posting your prices or your application that has really like very bad copy comparison to a company that spent millions of dollars on ads to A/B test every single part of the funnel and landing page that only converts at 3%, you think you're going to match that? Highly unlikely, because, well, be honest with you, insecurity really steps into play when I'm 25, 30 pounds overweight and I'm like, well, is this going to work for me? Because I've tried so many diets, right? So I got to understand the psychology of like, this person isn't ready to purchase, which is why we got to get them there. And getting them there is getting them into our system. And when they get into our system, then we can then nurture them, provide value, start conversation with them, and move forward. And so when you go to sell the idea to your audience about joining this lead magnet, now you start to rethink how you make content. Are you helping people or are you selling people? We talk about this all the time. One of the big things we talk about and joke about all the time is I'm looking for 5 people. I'm looking for 5 people. And technically that's a tactic, right? I mean, Baker, every coach that comes on, all of them at some point have done that. And some of them do it up until the day before they sign up with us.
Yep.
Because they're finally just fed up with like, hey, that doesn't work anymore. It used to. I know, man. It used to work. You know why it used to work? It used to work because when you first did it, your audience, 3% of people were like, oh man, he's starting training. I want to join. And then those 10 to 13 people, whatever it may be, take that action. And then all of a sudden you do it 90 days and you're like, why isn't anybody else joining? Well, because your growth of your following hasn't outrun your 3%. So for example, if you have 10,000 followers and you get 30 people to raise their hand, well, you better, if you want another 30 people to raise their hand, you need another 10,000 followers. So if your growth rate doesn't match your ask rate, eventually people are going to stop raising their hand, right? It's a math game. So when you understand that concept, it allows you to change how you market. And now it becomes is, well, how many of those 10,000 people can I help not sell? Because if I can get 100 people to join my lead magnet, I would have 100 conversations versus just 30. Think about it like this. How many people have filled out applications versus all those people that have Facebook groups? How many people are in your Facebook group? Let me guess. Your Facebook group, at minimum, probably is like 5 to 10x the applications you've ever gotten. It's because they're wanting to learn versus wanting to buy. Now, what if you could have a conversation with every single person that joined your Facebook group because we gathered their name, number, and email by utilizing it as a lead magnet? Business completely changes.
Mm-hmm.
Completely changes.
Yeah.
And that's how all this started to begin with, right? Is understanding that one concept of leads. And I'll be honest with you, it wouldn't come to me if me and Baker didn't put our head together and then we come from an e-commerce background, which was just how many leads could I get? And we called them basically like how many emails could I get? Because we knew that we was going to make 30% of our money on the back end. So my job wasn't to sell people on the first time they come to my website. My job was to get them to give me their email so I could sell to them later. And so now we take that same concept of a 7 8 figure business and now put this into coaching. Now it's a game changer.
Hmm.
Baker, talk to me about the difference between a tactic and a strategy.
Yeah, so I mean, tactics are going to be something that's going to be more of a short-term cash grab, right? Like we have different tactics that we employ within AR for coaches. You know, we've got a scholarship framework that does really well. We've got a challenge framework that does really well, and those are more tactics because I mean, we've seen a few businesses do really well on just purely doing challenge after challenge after challenge, but the majority of us, right, we need the recurring revenue, we need the high ticket sales that is going to actually pay the bills, right, keep the lights on.
Mhm.
So you know, employing something like a scholarship, the problem is where people get the tactics versus strategies kind of confused, and they employ a scholarship and it does really well and they have a ton of people that sign up with them, right? And then because they just flushed out everybody that was on the fence about signing up with them, they you know, scholarship or applications are down for like the next month, right, maybe the next 2 months, which is to be expected because we just made a cash grab, we just flushed everyone out, got them to take advantage of a deal. Now the problem is if this is looked at as a strategy, then a month later, 2 months later, you're running another scholarship. And all of a sudden, because people are conditioned to wait for a scholarship for you, and they're also conditioned to get discounted coaching from you, now you're pricing yourself out of a job. You're pricing yourself out of your own business. And so the reason for having tactics versus strategies is tactics should be strategically placed throughout your year of coaching in order to strategically place cash bumps in times where you would maybe be slower. For instance, inside of my coaching business, we know that you know, Q4 between like November and Christmas, it's going to be slower because they're traveling for the holidays, right? They're going to Thanksgiving. They don't want to start a plan right before Thanksgiving. Well, it's about to be Christmas now, so we don't want to start anything before Christmas. We know there's going to be a boom January 1st, right? But between November and December, we still want to make money. So we've strategically placed tactics in the November range and in the July range when people have given up on their summer goals already to get cash influxes into the business to make sure that our revenue stays consistent throughout the year. Okay, but if we were to do one quarterly or if we were to do one monthly, then that would completely desensitize our audience and our potential clients to the tactics that we want to employ to where it doesn't actually become a successful tactic anymore.
Let me
So
explain that in a different way that you guys will really grasp and
go ahead.
understand. So let's just say, any supplement company, right? Got my fit people out here. If a supplement company every single month had a sale that was 25% off, you would stop caring about the 25% off. And you would just obviously either wait for the next one, right? Or realize like, oh, they're always 25% off. I'm not going to buy any other time unless they do a sale. At the same time, if you look at a supplement company and they do a 4th of July sale, and they do a Black Friday sale, and they do a Halloween, they do a Labor Day, they do an Easter, and each of those sales are a different type of value. For example, 25% off, BOGO, buy two, get one, free shipping, free shirt with orders over 50. You're not sure what to expect, and each time, every customer is going to identify with a sell or a tactic in a different way. Some people might love challenges and they'll take a stab at that. And some are like, I don't like group stuff. So that's when maybe they do a scholarship. Some people might go towards the Facebook group. Some people might go towards a webinar. Some people love cookbooks. And then some people want to be one of those 5 people that you're asking for. And this is where you provide multiple tactics throughout the year to devise an overarching strategy. And if you find yourself doing the exact same tactic and it started off good and it's ended and it no longer works, it's because you've run its course. It's time to implement something new. So that's what's really cool about, I think, the strategies in which we implement with coaches is that, hey, like, I don't want you as a coach to be a one-trick pony, right? I need you to do a few different tricks. I need you to be able to do a few different things to help you make money. I need you to be able to do a long play. I need you to be able to do a fast cash grab. I need you to be able to implement the scholarship, to challenge, understanding the difference between both, understanding why we do each. And think about your business to where, what am I doing in the next 30, 60, or 90 days with my different lead magnets, with my different tactics? Because that is what builds an overarching strategy. Hopefully that kind of makes sense to everybody to understand. It's like, we can't do the same thing over and over and over. You can't run the same lead magnet forever. That same lead magnet is going to get desensitized to a lot of people because maybe you're like putting up something about keto. Not everybody's keto. But what if you did something that's kind of the same and you went towards like carnivore? It's like, oh, well, I kind of might identify with that better being inside this no carb space. Right? Maybe your thing is like, I work with women, but you're so focused on the fat loss piece, maybe you forget about the sleep piece, or maybe you forget about the mom piece, or maybe you forget about the recipes for busy moms on the go. Like, those different type of tactics are able to call out this individual, except in different ways, right? So get outside the lane and help the person. Don't try to sell the service. The more you help the person in multiple different ways, the more people you're going to buy into your service.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that, Felicity?
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, like, to consolidate it down, listening to both of you guys, it's like two things to watch out for is like you do not want too much of a good thing because things get old. It's like if you go on vacation every month to the same place, doesn't work. It's gonna get boring. So you don't want too much of a good thing, and you want to keep variability in your business because you want to always throw little surprises. You want to throw curveballs at your prospects because if they don't know what's coming, then they get hit with something. It's like, oh, you're the coach for me.
Right. I love that idea because it also ties into the concept that everybody needs to remember that fitness is an impulse purchase. Fitness is an impulse purchase. Everybody wants to lose weight when they walk past the mirror, and they change their mind when they walk past the pantry. It's because we got to get them at the right time, at the right moment. They're not just going to always be ready to jump. But when I walk past the pantry, I might not be ready to apply, but I still want to learn because I still had that thought deep in my mind from earlier that morning. And that's where a lead magnet comes in. So, guys, man, I appreciate it. I thought this has been really great. I think it's been helpful.
Good stuff.
And hopefully you guys got some good use out of it on the YouTube side. Appreciate everybody that joined.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you,
see
guys.
you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Everyone
guys.
have a good one.
All right.